I think that it's not come as a surprise to me personally because I had anticipated this 4.5 months ago when Mr. Modi became Prime Minister, because as a politician I understand the compulsions that politicians are under, and if you have cultivated an image of an Iron Man, then obviously there is a political compulsion to live up to that image. And then I started to look at some of the statements that started to come out from the ministers. Mr. Rajnath Singh gave a very strong statement. The National Security Advisor, Mr. Doval, said that it's going to be defensive offensive. You know, he came out with a new formulation. There was the tone. I mean, somebody else said that, you know, it's a new situation in India. So I was not entirely surprised when something that has been unfortunately going on every year a little bit here and there, that it started to escalate. And in fact, quite surprisingly, started to escalate on the working boundary rather than on the line of control. And the whole infiltration argument is more on the LOC and not on the working boundary, because the population mix is different. So it was sad. I think that people over here, policymakers, not ordinary people, need to recognize that if there is a feeling that a force would mean that the other side would not retaliate, I think that is not a correct appreciation. And there is potentially a danger that if there is a miscalculation, then this thing can has the flare up even further, which is not good. And there is a second misperception in some quarters in India that the political setup and the military are not on one page. I don't represent the government. In fact, I represent an opposition party, and we have sort of launched a kind of movement against this government. But I would say that when it comes to national security, political parties, military, in fact, civil society, everybody is on the same page. I was a little disappointed that the foreign secretary level talks were called off because of a reason which, to my mind, does not seem enough of a reason to call the talks off. Because if your objective is to improve relations, and that's a very broad objective, then even if there are things that happen that you don't like, there was no reason to call off those talks. And secondly, it was not something that had never happened before. In fact, it had been happening before for quite some time. So that was a bad sign, particularly after Nawaz Sharif decided to come here despite some opposition back home. And so now there is both a political, at the talks level there is a stalemate, and then there is this thing heating up on the working boundary. So I would like to see both things change, that on the working boundary the military to military contact should be revived, whatever other means is to reduce tension on the working boundary. And at the same time, an opportunity is coming next month in Kathmandu, I believe.
Yes, for the SARC.
For the SARC. So hopefully, if that is used to restart the process of the composite dialogue.